Like AEs are making more money than like, doctors and lawyers. I don't think people realize the potential, but yeah.
Tech family, what's up? We are here for another interview. We have the honor of having my man Prince here on the show. And so we're gonna just jump straight in, right? Because it's an honor. We have Enterprise SDR. We're gonna really dive into what are the challenges and what are the things or the qualities that Prince really thinks that he carries that brought him from that entry-level SDR position to where he is now. But first, we just gonna start off in the conversation with Prince. Just introduce yourself, introduce a little bit about your background, and man, if you want to just let us know like some cool personal fun facts or hobbies or anything about the personal side, to just let us peer into your life outside of the professional side.
Nah, but thanks, Justin. I just want to just thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. Love what you're doing with Tech Journey. It's cool to see what you and your wife, man. How many people do you see getting into tech? Husband and wife, man. That's amazing. But yeah, like for myself, I'm from Dallas. Graduated from the University of Houston. I have like just a crazy background. Political science major. Was originally supposed to be going for pharmacy school. Man, the PCAT was, just kicking my ass. Then I pivoted because if you look at my transcript, Lily took all the math, science, just literally everything, and then was going to do nursing. Then pivoted from that to where I'm at now, like with tech. And so this actually, when I made my pivot to tech, this was actually during COVID coming into 2021.
Okay.
So like during 2020, like the whole world slowed down. So I was doing a lot of reading a lot of books. The main book that really changed my mindset was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Wow.
Yeah, I read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, read Robert Greene's Mastery, read Patrick Bet-David's book, Your Next 5 Moves, and reading those books, and it was funny because I just feel like consecutively reading them back to back to back, it kind of helped me get my make my plan coming into 2021 when I pivoted to tech. And so did the program SV Academy in May, and then joined the company that I'm currently at, Tiger Graph.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So all right, so I picked up on something you said. So reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it's funny, like when I first started reading as an adult, this is sad though, but we're not going to talk about that. I didn't really read like prior to being an adult. I didn't read in high school. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad was literally like the first book I read cover to cover when I was in college. Mm-hmm. So are you like associating the idea of really like, I guess, changing the trajectory of your financial state when it comes to building wealth? Are you equating that to wanting to go into tech? Like did that whole mindset play into you just seeing that there was a lot of financial opportunity in the tech space?
I would say it's a combination. It's a combination with both. So, I think for everybody when we were growing up, go to school, make good grades, go to college, and then supposed to be set, making all the money. But as you can see, I know a lot of my friends and et cetera that we did all that, went to college, graduated, and it wasn't like what they told us when we were kids. And it's funny because my first job was actually working at Dell. I don't know if you guys remember the Dell kiosk in the mall. And so that it was sales. And so I was actually, it's funny because my first job, I was making more money back in 2004, 2005, and 2006 than some of the jobs that I had afterwards, because I was getting sales and commission back when I was working at Dell.
Right. No stuff, huh? Wow. No.
Yeah. And so when you were saying with the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, so during 2020, when I was just thinking a lot, because at that time I was working at Chubb, like Chubb Insurance, and I knew I didn't want to do that like forever. And then I was just thinking like, man, what are other ways that I can have like be passionate about and have like a successful career? And it's like, and I'm also into like the stocks too. So during that time, like when the whole market was coming down, the companies that were staying up, you remember it was like Zoom, it was your DocuSign, it
Right.
was pretty much all the tech companies. So I was like sitting there observing it. And then also too, I was looking at it after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. Is like most jobs you have a cap. You have a like your salary is pretty much stagnant. But it's like if you want to make a lot of a lot of money, it's like sales. Because in sales you get like a base and a variable. And
Right.
then every company, if you can sell, you'll never go hungry because every company has to sell. Like companies, they have to build and make product,
Mm,
build it, and then they have to sell it.
mm.
Yeah, you
So,
build it and sell it.
so Prince, all right, so on a personal level, like what you literally just said. And so at the time of the recording of this interview, I still have not started my actual first day of work as an
Mhm.
I literally start Monday on January 9th, 2023. My wife have already started working. Now, something you said, Prince, I believe this, and I tell people this. I'm like, look, okay, if you know how to sell, for one, you'll always be able to provide for yourself. But then the other side is, okay, if I know how to sell from a tech standpoint, then I know how a business is formed, right? So like that
Yeah.
helps me in my personal life, in my personal branding. But you're saying this from a place of like you do this, like this ain't speculation, right? Like you live this, right? Like
Yeah.
you've been promoted in this. So like if you can just elaborate a little more, what value do you believe working in tech sales has added to your understanding, like of life from a standpoint of how to progress forward, whether it's like in your attitude in maybe like a personal business venture, but what value has that added to you?
Yeah, I would say one is entrepreneurial mindset. So
Mm,
like what you said, because when you're working, especially in tech, or like so like my company's like a startup. When you're working in tech, you see like from you have your sales team, the marketing, customer success, the product team, the engineering. You really get to understand how business like functions. Because I always advise people. I feel like if you want to go the entrepreneurial route, I feel like you should get in. You should get in tech, and
wow.
specifically like like a startup, but any tech company. But it's like I'm biased. It's my company's a
No,
startup. It's like a
no.
startup or like a small business, because when you work with a startup or a small business, you're gonna really learn what it is to be entrepreneurial, because you're not like one of these super established companies. But even if you are working at any like tech companies, like, but still like you're gonna learn a lot of entrepreneurial skills, like thinking out of the box, especially like right now. You got it. You got to get creative, and when you're entrepreneurial, like you have to solve problems. So if stuff is not working, get creative. Like, you know what I mean? Like we call it A/B testing. So
Mm,
test you do one thing to see like if it's gonna work. We call it like A/B testing. So like
yeah,
maybe I'm trying like for like sending out an email, I'm trying this subject line and then trying a different one to see which one gets a open different open rate,
right.
or changing up like when I'm on the phone and just changing the conversation, because maybe one thing is resonating more with some type of persona versus another. So
Yeah,
because you don't want to do insanity, just repeating the same thing over and over and expecting different results if it's not working. So I would say the main thing is like thinking out of the box, because when you're an entrepreneur, like no matter the market is up or down, we got to solve
Ooh,
problems.
no, man, that's good. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, in terms of okay, so and I know we can always like Google what soft skills is needed to like be a business development rep or sales development rep, but just like because you seem to me a pretty well put together individual. I mean, like you are intelligent, you are clear. It seems like you almost in a way kind of like this problem solving thing. Like, what soft skills do you think a person need who is thinking about like going into business development? Like, is it anything that you would say has to already be there, whether it's like the ability to communicate, or even like how organized does a person have to be, like naturally? Like, do you have to like understand how to create spreadsheets on like Excel? Like, how much practical understanding does a person need in that arena before going into tech sales?
Yeah, well, I would say the biggest thing, if I can take someone and like if I had to pick, say, an entrepreneurial mindset, and I would say the second biggest thing is somebody that has the ability to learn. Like if you're like if you have the ability to learn and absorb material, then also like problem solve. I think that'll be like the biggest thing, because like what you said, we use like Salesforce. Even if you don't know how to do all the fancy stuff in Salesforce, if you have the ability to learn, and you have like if you're curious, I'll take somebody over somebody that might have a little bit more hard and soft skills, because I feel like the ability to learn, because things are always changing. So I feel
Ah,
like, yeah, always there's a phrase, because I'm in a whole bunch of different communities, but there's a phrase what they always say is like always be learning.
okay, I
Yeah,
got
because if you think you're just going to just put your feet up and rest on your roles, and then think that you don't have to learn anything more, then no,
you.
you're gonna be in trouble. So I would say like the biggest soft skill is, yeah, curiosity and just learning, and
Mm.
just just reading and learning.
So, transparent question: do you feel like the path you chose to
Mhm.
go into tech, do you feel fulfilled in like your career decision and like the projection of like where you're headed career wise?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. No, I love it, and like for me, because yeah, I am working, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like work to me, because I
Mm.
really enjoy what I'm doing, even
Yeah.
though like I still have a job to do and it is work, but it doesn't feel like work for me.
Wow. Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's cool, man, because it's like, again, I've been in like tech sales course, applying for jobs, interviewing. Now I have a job. I'm about to start working. But it's like I like it. Like I'm
Yeah,
up about it to the point where like I invite other people in, like, you can come do this, right? And I mean, when I sold cars, like I wasn't inviting nobody to be a car salesman. like like it was cool, right? It paid the bills. I respected and honored my dealership. Like, it was all good, but like I wasn't gonna tell my friends like, hey man, you need to come here and apply for a job. Like, no, dude, like people just fall into this, in my opinion. Like, they don't just like choose to say, I want to come do this. But it's like with tech sales, in my mind, I'm actually persuaded that this is what people need to come do. Now I get it. It's not for everybody, tech sales, but I just mean tech in general. But in my mind, I know the amount of money you can make. I know that it challenges you in a personal way to develop certain mindset skills, practical skills that can apply to the entrepreneurial setting. I'm like, why wouldn't a person want to do this? And on top of that, you can like work from home. So like in my
no,
mind, it's like, why wouldn't you take a double take at this if you haven't actually really considered it already? Um,
yeah, but you know what I think it is? Like what you said, I think that because everybody knows about car sales, insurance sales, but I think a lot of people still don't know a lot about, tech sales. So that's why that's why I said I was excited to be on your platform, and I love that you're putting out content, because we need more people, and I don't think people realize, like, I feel like with tech sales it's a lot cooler. Like you said, you wouldn't feel comfortable be like, hey, y'all need to come join me, like, in car sales. But it's like if you're saying like like with tech sales, because you're with Intuit, correct?
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Intuit. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many, like, different companies, startups. Like it's all exciting. It's like
Yeah.
my little brother. He just got into to tech sales. His company, yeah, his company is called like Riverside. It's like, I think, like video and podcasting. Like, people
Yeah.
don't realize in every
I know who
industry.
they are, bro.
Yo, Riverside?
Yeah, I do. I know
Yeah.
from the content creation side, I
See?
came across them before. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know who they are until like my brother, because when I was looking at it, then I started doing my research to make sure that they're a good company. But I was like, yeah, they look pretty dope. I see that Gary V co-signing them and all that thing. You just mentioned them, like how big, but you see what I mean? There's tech literally like in every industry, and I don't think that a lot of people, especially like for us, like like where we come from, a lot of people they don't know that. So I feel like that's what they need you. They need the tech journey to be putting out all this content so they can see like how with tech there's so
Mm,
many different like industries. It's a lot cooler, like you said, being able to like to work remote, higher pay. Like people don't realize even too, like even when you get up like to be like a AE,
uh-huh.
like AEs are making more money than like doctors and lawyers. I don't think people realize the potential, but yeah.
Bro, so gosh, all right. I got a couple things I want to ask you, man. This is good. All right, I'm gonna rewind and I'm gonna ask this.
Okay.
Now I know you went to SV Academy,
Mhm.
so and it's understood. Like with our channel, I am an affiliate with Course Careers. I rep Course Careers. I went through Course Careers, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, my wife and I, we wanted this thing to be in the beginning to where it's not just about like one thing for us. Like we want this to be a platform that helps people segue into the tech field, or AKA a better life for themselves.
Mhm.
But that is reflective of more income, better stewardship with money, more time with family, healthier relationships. Like it's all inclusive, right? And so our friend, she was on an interview, on a different interview, Nikki Carney. She went through SV Academy. And look, she reps SV. Like she's in love with what SV like produces. And so my question is more from a general question of how much do you think like a tech course or a type of boot camp or academy, how much did that really make a difference in preparing you for like being hired and working in the role, in your honest opinion?
I think it makes a big difference. So like you said, you did course careers. I did SV. I'm cool with a lot of people. There's another thing called like Spireship. I
Mm.
know a couple people that did
Yeah,
Flog.
that's right.
Yeah,
I heard of them recently. One of my homeboys brought them
yeah.
up.
And so, but I would just say the proof is in the pudding. There's a lot of people that try to break into tech that just try to do it by themselves. They get rejected because I think the biggest benefit is like not only does it prepare you, like what I mean, learning the sales process, the tech stack, Salesforce, Salesloft, and etc. It's like also it's the community. It's like
Mm.
the instructors, the mentors, and et cetera. So think about it. Imagine you just applying to just into it without course careers, or it's like even with me. And then even when I did SV, you get connected to like all the past alumni, and like with them, they're also part of like a whole bunch of different communities. So I get
Ah,
connected to those people. And then if you're a networker, or people like us, you're gonna network and then get connected to more people and all that. Like that's not gonna happen if you're just applying blindly to all these tech companies, because when they go look at your LinkedIn and all that, who are you connected with? We have
right.
no idea who you are.
I didn't even think about that
Yeah,
too.
or you get in the interview and they're asking you, so Justin, like uh tell me what tech stack that you use. You're gonna be like, what? Because you have no idea, because you didn't do no course grid, no SV, or no Aspireship, no Flog J or whatever. So you're not gonna be able to answer that question. Or when
Right,
they're asking, it's like, okay, like explain like the sales process.
right.
Yeah, or can you give me an example when there's no way there's no way that you can do that. I'm not saying that's impossible, but
Uh,
the odds in my opinion is against you. So I think that it is well worth it. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, and I feel that way. I mean, I just wanted to hear from you. Like you somebody like you're in it, you're producing. And no, I mean that's good to know. And actually the way that I got the job at Intuit was from a friend of mine who went through Course Careers,
See,
was connected with the recruiter. Like I don't even think I ever actually put an app in for Intuit.
see,
Like
yeah,
I just got referred by my boy through Course Careers. It's like, Dang. So yeah, I get it for sure. So now, next question. If you can touch on this, well, all right. I'm gonna ask you about income next after this. But just kind of like elaborate a little bit on how was it working in your role as an SDR? Like just what did that consist of? Just day-to-day routine. And how did that shift when you went from an SDR to an enterprise level SDR?
Yeah, so I feel like when I started off with me and my manager, a lot of it is time management, is managing your your time. Because I always feel like I think that you always feel that you'll be like ready, and I think that I would say like in the first 90 days, I think the biggest thing is just you know time management, learning like like the product, the product,
Okay.
et cetera, and then staying on your routine and just
Mm.
being consistent because
Whoa.
the main thing about being like with a SDR is like building a pipeline. So that's what we do. So it's like being consistent, like making sure that you know enough with the product, so when you get on the phone with your prospects, you can actually have a good conversation with them.
Mm.
Emails, staying on top, like with LinkedIn. And I would just say, yeah, just to keep it simple, it's like consistent, being consistent, and then
Mm.
just building pipeline.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. Understood. Now, dang. All right. So I'm gonna pause right there. So this is interesting, Prince. Extremely interesting. You might find this interesting. So my wife and I was having this conversation. This was either last night or like this morning.
Mhm.
So I asked you, how was it like being an SDR? Earlier in the conversation, you tied in having this entrepreneur mindset as a result of working in tech sales.
Mhm.
Um, your response was time management and then learning your product and then being consistent with your pipeline and doing the work. So my wife asked me, she said, what are the top three things that you would say separates a millionaire or somebody who is resourceful with their time, their life, with what comes in their hands, as opposed to someone who just lives paycheck to paycheck? And so the three things that I thought about, because I'm projecting where I plan on going,
Mhm.
was you determine your schedule. So time
Yes.
management. I said, I
Mhm.
believe that someone who is resourceful, their schedule isn't planned by other people. Like they have a set agenda every single day. And then the second thing was they're learners. So learning your product. I said, because somebody who's a millionaire, they got to be willing to like learn what they don't know today. And then the third thing was they're doers. Like they gotta be people who just willing to like not make excuses and just accomplish what it is that they need to accomplish. So I just found that parallel like very cool. So that's
And
just
so no, looks like we're aligned. No, but yeah, you're right because trust me, being an SDR, because that's why I have respect for. Well, plus I am one, but it's tough. So the reason I was saying being consistent, and when you're saying being a doer, there's going to be days where it's just going to be rough. Like you're not getting no response,
mm,
just hang ups and all of that. And so you have to have a mindset of like a
mm,
goldfish. You got to just be short term. You can't
mm,
sit and pout on to the next day. Like, you have a rough day, think about it. Like if you, because we're all humans. So it's like if you got to process it and all that, and then get ready for the next day. So that's why I was saying being consistent. Because if you let like one or two bad days drag you down, then think about it. That's the whole week, and then it adds up. Like what I
wow.
mean. Then it's like you don't want to bring that into the second week. So you want to be like consistent, then
Yeah.
have short term memory. Like you said, being a doer, just just acting. I'll give you an example because I told you like I worked plenty of jobs. I don't know if you ever been like a server.
I was a bus boy for 2.5 months and I quit, but keep
Oh, yeah,
going.
too. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I used to be like a server, and that's how it is. It's like with some tables, you'll look at it, it's like you just get like, some shitty tips. You know what I mean? Or no tips at all. But it's like, let's say okay, you come and sit down like with your wife. I had a
Mm,
bad table. If I bring that attitude in, you don't know what you guys just came into the restaurant. So I gotta
Mm.
leave. Whatever happened with that, the previous table, I'm still gonna be coming like, with my A game. You know what I mean? Like, hey, how you doing, Justin? Like, how's your wife? And you know what I mean? Showing you the menu and coming with that energy. Y'all can be like, oh man, like we got a good server and and excited and gonna wanna tip. So it's like the same thing where we're,
Mm.
being like the SDRs, like being consistent, coming with that, coming with the energy,
Yeah.
every day. But like I
Yeah.
said, at the same time, we are human. So, if you have a down day or whatever, it's just like, all right, like you might have to just, call the day, like, earlier, you know what I mean? Like just shorten it, just relax, get some good sleep, eat some good food, like, and then get ready to, to hit it the next day and just be
Wow.
consistent.
Wow. So nah, man, that's so valuable. Let me ask you this, Prince. So this enterprise SDR,
Mhm.
like, what is that? Like, how is enterprise sales development rep or business development rep different than a regular sales development rep?
Yeah. So the major difference between like so for some companies, so like at my company, it's like commercial SDR, then we have enterprise, and then some other companies they have like you know SDR that works like an SMB, or commercial or mid market, or some is like SDR 1, 2, 3. But to
Okay.
answer your question, the major difference between commercial and enterprise is like at my company, enterprise is 2 billion and above are 1,000 employees, to like
Mm.
5,000. So it's pretty much like, your Fortune
Okay.
500 companies. Yeah. All the
Okay.
companies that, that are public, like in the, in the stock market. So, your Walmart, your
God.
Pepsi's, your Shopify's,
God.
Etsy, yeah, American Express. And so the major difference when you're going up to that level is like, think about what I said. It's like, these are Fortune 500 companies where every tech company is swarming them to try to do their, look at their product and all that. So the major difference between like, like with commercial and enterprise is that I would say one, your business acumen has to go up. You have to be more of an effective writer. Um, and then
Mm.
if you're on, then like cold calling when you're on the phone, like the first thing that I said, business acumen, because let's say if I get like, director, VP, or even just the manager, there's so many people that's reaching out to them. It's like, if you can't speak to how, like, their business problem or what value you're going to be bringing to them, click. I don't got time for this. Like, I'm
Done.
not interested. So it's like your game has to step up because you're talking more to these companies where everybody's like, is swarming them. And then there's multiple decision makers when you get to the enterprise. It's not just
Mm.
one single person. Because when I was in commercial, it was easy to like I can get one person, and since commercial, it's a lot smaller. You get this person, they're pretty much the major decision maker, and then you're good. Then it's like sales cycle can go real fast. But when you're an enterprise, it's multiple people. So you're gonna have to do like they call it multi-threading, where you're gonna have to get multiple decision makers all in, like all in for what's his name, the process to make the decision. So yeah, your skill level has to go up, like with everything that I said. Like, and I would say the major thing that I've noticed is business acumen, yeah, more effective writing, and yeah, better discovery, like especially like
Mm.
doing discovery and
Okay.
qualification. Yeah.
Did like your pay grade change significantly when you went to enterprise level from the commercial side?
Oh yeah. So when I got promoted from commercial to enterprise, I got a pay increase. So like my base increased. So that was nice.
Got you, man. Got you. Wow. Wow. And I guess in so it's like, how has working in tech with your income with and you work remote?
Yes.
Okay. Being able to work remote so you don't have to commute to work. Like what kind of life has that afforded you? If that makes sense. Like in terms of like the liberty in your spending, what you're able to do, what you're able to say, whatever it is, right? Like just kind of like, how does that make you feel? What has that afforded you to be able to do?
Man, a lot. I'm glad you said the key word save. Because for the first time in my life, I was able to save a lot, a lot of money. So
Wow.
yeah, like one, saving. Two, I can finally get better gifts for my family members. Because before, because it's like it's at the end of the day. I guess like for me, I'm not really a person that splurges, so that's why I'm glad that you brought up like save. But it's like for me, saving, getting gifts for like all
Wow.
like my like my family members and people that I care about. So it's like now I can actually get like a lot
Mm,
better stuff. And then it's like three is it's like traveling. I can
mm,
give like traveling, have like good experiences, because I feel
wow.
like at the end of the day, when like when you're traveling, like the more money you have, it's kind of like a resource. I look at it as like the more resources you have, the more you can do. So it's like now when I go out, can have a better experience because don't have as much limited income as before.
Wow, man. Okay. I look forward to this. I do, man. No, but like something as simple as you said, Prince, like better gifts for your family. I mean, come on, bro. Like how many of us are like just in that simple struggle, right? Christmas time come, you got all these people to buy gifts for, and you like, oh God, right? You
I
got
know,
like,
just you be like, oh man, you be looking at
right,
the list, and I know you got like kids and there's probably other family members. They're like, hey, just you be trying to do the math. So that's why I said for me, that's like the biggest thing is like being able to get better gifts and then save more money.
wow,
Like they say like I think they said I don't know what the stat, but I think they said like most Americans can't like afford like $1,000 emergency or don't even have
yeah,
$1,000 in their savings account.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. It's
So
crazy.
being here, you're making more money. So if you're financially responsible to save a lot more. So yeah, that was one of the first things that I was able to do is save a lot of money.
Come on, man. So, all right. So I'm gonna get ready. So I'm pivoting now to, I guess, like wrapping up the conversation. Um, in terms of you have obviously had a successful career in how long have you been in tech sales now?
18 plus months. So I know we're in January. So yes, about to be probably like
All
19,
right.
18, 19.
So 19 months, you entered in as an SDR. You're on an enterprise level. You've received a significant pay increase in that short span of time. So for someone who produces, Prince, like I feel like it's such an honor to like be able to have you on the show because like you're not talking from speculation, right? You're talking from doing it. What would you say is like that it factor that sets you or a successful SDR apart from someone who may be average or may perform below average? Is it more of a certain mindset or is it more of a certain discipline or a certain skill? What would you say?
I would say it's a combination of all three. So I would say like one with the mindset, like I think that I have an entrepreneurial, mindset because like I said, I think when you have an entrepreneurial mindset, it's like solving problems. And then so also for me, I think my secret weapon is that I read a lot.
Mm,
Like so I'm always reading and I'm always I'm always learning. And then also too, I would say just being a part of like communities because like my mindset is like I want to be around other like-minded like people that
okay.
like are in the same space because that's how you're going to quickly learn too, like how you mentioned earlier, like you like the fact that this is not theory and you're actually talking to someone that knows because I'm actually doing it. I feel like that's how you speed up and you learn a lot of things. And so that's what I do is like I connect with other people like in the space. I'm in a lot of like communities. I'm always reading,
Yeah.
learning. Yeah, trying different things. I would say like being creative because I feel like
Mm,
being in tech sales is only so much that your managers and your team can do. I feel like also too like you have to be proactive
Mm,
doing like, personal development. So like, let's
wow.
say for example, like if you feel like you need to be, better on the phone and all of that, like you don't need to wait for your manager. Like team up with whoever's the best on your team that that's a good caller, and then practice with them, or
Wow.
connect with somebody else. Or if you have a friend in the space, be like, hey, help me, like role play, or I'm having trouble with objections, or
Yeah.
same thing like for emails. If you suck at emails, connect with someone, or go learn. Like there's a whole bunch of resources. So I feel like investing in yourself, like in your personal development.
Wow. Come on, man. Okay. No, that was a mouthful. And you know what? In Prince, what I've discovered, I'm sure other people discovered it. As simple as that sounds, that's a big hindrance for a lot of people, man. It's like actually being willing to learn what they don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like if I work a certain job, I'm unhappy on the job. I don't really feel like I should be doing it. I'm not making enough money. I see somebody else doing something else, but I don't understand it. And so subconsciously, I'm content with not understanding it. And I don't care to actually try to understand it because I don't even think in a way of, hey, I can actually just go learn it. Right. It's kind of
Yeah.
like if I don't know how to edit a video, well, I can just enroll in some course and like learn how to do it. Right. It's
No,
like
no, exactly.
not knowing. Yeah.
No,
So
because I'm saying there's so many resources, like you said, like with a course, do your due diligence, see who has the best thing, and then invest. Because people, what you're gonna blow your money and what, like, I don't know, but I'm just saying it's like I rather, like when I'm saying like with the personal development, like okay, if I see somebody has some course or whatever that can help me, I'm gonna invest that money into me because it's gonna pay off in the long run. Like you're gonna get that money back like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times if you really read it, absorb it, and actually execute it. So I
yeah.
think what you said is like I think a lot of it is like mindset, and then I think that when you said the skill part, everybody's going to have a different skill level. But the good thing that I like about with being like in tech sales is that you can improve. You can improve at anything that you're weak at. I'm not saying
Mm,
that you're going to be the best of the best because, of course, somebody might just be natural or just more skillful than you. But you can be able, like, let's say, like if we're grading you on a 1 to 10 and you're like a 3, you can get yourself to be like a 6 or a 7. Might not be like a 10, but you can get yourself to be a 6 or or a 7. Then another area you might be a 9 or a 10. But there's no reason for you to just to be weak across the board. It's like no, like
wow. Come. Oh man. No, this is yeah, this is exciting to me, man. This really is. And I've seen myself grow so much, Prince, just preparing for this role, man. Like from the beginning of making the decision to do this, like from starting the YouTube channel to just going through the course that I was in to bro, just doing simple stuff like I know how to type pretty fast, but I want to be able to type better and like look at the keyboard less. So I'm gonna download some app on my computer and just learn how to improve my typing. Right? It's like simple stuff. Like I'm at a point now where it's like, okay, if I don't know something, I'm just gonna learn it. Like period.
yeah.
Like, if
Are,
somebody
are,
else
are you
figure it out, why can't
I
I
think
figure
I
it out?
think when you're in sales, a lot of what we're doing is being curious or just ask questions. Like if you don't know, ask somebody else that you trust or you think that's like credible or in a good position. It's like if you don't know, just go ask them. Be like, hey, I'm having trouble with this. I'm thinking like I'm thinking this, but not sure. They might have the answer, but you can't just sit there like you said and like, oh, I don't have the answer. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it, and just be stuck. It's like no. Like there's too many resources, so you gotta use it. So that's why I said it goes back to having that entrepreneurial mindset. I'll give you
Yeah.
an example. I don't know if you know with Netflix. Netflix said that they'll never do advertising. That was like one thing that they were like focused on. We're never gonna do advertising. But then I don't know if you saw their stock price. It kept declining, declining, declining. Revenue is going down. So
Mm,
imagine Justin, like if you're on the Netflix board, it's like, hey, Justin, our revenue's declining, declining. What are we gonna do about it? Hey, maybe we might have to do some advertising. You got to solve the. You can't just sit there and just let the company just keep losing. So it's like you have to, you know, think outside the box, solve problems, be resourceful. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, yeah, because you
yeah.
can't just sit there and just think. So that's the way how I like, think about it.
Ooh, come on, man. Challenges, Prince. What would you say, if there are any, what would you say are the challenges that, I don't know, maybe that you think about after work, to where it's to the point where, okay, I have to really figure out how to overcome this. Like, I guess you can call it a con, if you will. We didn't talk
Mm.
about pros of being an SDR. Are there any cons? Like what is it? And if there are any, like, are they really like a super big deal?
I wouldn't view it as a con, but I would say a challenge. I would say is, I guess you could say like mental health. So I'll give you an example. Like, in the month of July last year, I had my worst month ever, where I
Mm,
just a goose egg, didn't have anything. And then, like when we're in sales, we attach ourselves on what we contribute, but at the end of the day, we're still, human beings. But at the same time, being human beings, we have emotions. So you got to remember, like when you're in like sales, it's like we're
mm,
month to month. So like a good example it'd be like athletes. Like, think about like in a basketball game. Hey, Justin, you had a hot night. You're averaging 30. You're averaging like 30 points a game. Next game, 35. But it might be a game where it's just like everybody's all watching and all that, and then you come up and then you only got 4 points.
right.
You know what I
Ooh,
mean? So that's how I felt. It's like you're gonna be
ooh,
feeling like crap because you're looking at the dashboard and it's like, man,
ooh.
I suck. And then it's like, man, am I really good or whatever? And like, so and then that and so when I'm saying like mental health, I think that also too is like that's why what do I do? So every time, like when I do have like a like good month and stuff like that, I try to celebrate it, or like go out and
Mm,
it's like, hey, like, you know what I
wow.
mean? Because you got to kind of have to reward
Yeah.
yourself. So even if you do have that down, even if you do have that down month, that okay, it's like, all those times when I was celebrating, it's like I can do this. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because everybody's not going to go like in a straight line. It's like it's just natural. Sometimes it might dip, but you just got to just make sure that you don't like you don't stay there. Then you bounce back. And so I think like celebrating all your small wins. So when you do have like a setback or like a loss, it doesn't just destroy you like mentally.
mm. Bro, that, I can't say I've ever really heard that, man. Like, that's gold. Like, like the fact that, even the fact that you break it down and you categorize it, and okay, focus on mental health and celebrate the wins when you have good months. Me and my wife gonna do that, bro. I appreciate that. Seriously, like,
No, yeah, not. I think it'll be good. I'm telling you, like like if you have like a good call, or just anything, it's like, man, celebrate, or like just document it because it's gonna come in handy because I'm telling you, everybody has. I don't care who it is. If they say that they don't, they're lying.
mm,
Everybody has like a rough month or a worst performance. But then you also have to remember, but it's like, hey, Justin, remember all those wins or something like that. So even though you processing that, hey, okay, may have been terrible, you're gonna be able to bounce back. Don't you
yeah,
know? Don't worry about it because look at all those wins that you had before. Yeah, remember
yeah,
when we went out, like to celebrate? We went to that nice restaurant. You know what I
mhm,
mean? See how that can help, like
yeah,
mentally. So you'd be like,
yeah.
all right, yeah. So might have been rough, but you'll bounce back. You'll bounce back next month.
That's good, man. Right, because the experience of celebrating is ingrained in your mind. The smell of the food, the smell of the setting, like all of this is connected to the emotion that has you on high. And not to mention, you're actually making enough money to go out and eat.
Yeah, that
Right,
too.
right. Come on, man. All right, Prince. Is it anything that you feel like you want to leave with the audience? Man, just thinking from a perspective of any person that's going to view this video, whether it's in 2023, 2024, man. Just this is now, it's going to go up in the whole YouTube algorithm, right? And it's going to be documented, and it's going to be played over and over and over and over again. And honestly, man, I feel like you added so much value, like so much value, man, to my life personally. I feel like, I mean, this is captivating. If there's anything that I missed that I didn't ask, that you just want to touch on for someone on any level, man, on any level who is thinking about going into tech sales, thinking about going into the tech arena in general, just got hired as an SDR and just looking to figure out whatever their next move is, anything that you want to leave with us?
Yeah, man, I would tell them, subscribe to the Tech Journey. Watch, for real, watch all your videos, because I feel like if you really want to, get like in tech, you have to what's the word? I'm not saying you have to be like OCD, but yeah, like devour all the information, like network, like reach out to me, connect with me, like on LinkedIn, connect with Justin. You know what I mean? Like get in some communities. Like if you don't know, just ask around, like start networking, get in with some communities, and then just try to learn, like try to absorb as much information as possible. Read, and then yeah, like we said in the beginning, I really advise people, if they're trying to get into tech, join one of these these tech programs, boot camps, because in my opinion, I feel like that's the best way to get in, because it's very difficult to do it without it. Not saying that it's impossible, but it's very difficult. And then yeah, I think that's all I have to really add, is just
No, that's valuable. And I appreciate you saying that. Like, it's okay to be a person who devours information and content. Like, and what I mean by that is, I know for me, going into this space, going into content creation, bro, I done spent a lot of long evenings and long nights just learning, just whether it's learning tech sales, learning how to use Final Cut, like whatever it is. And a lot of my time, bro, has really just been spent reading and devouring information. And on the surface, it might look like, oh man, this dude, he's spending all of this time doing this and doing that and studying this and studying that. Hey, but bro, at the end of the day, when you devour information with an intent to go in a direction, it pays off, right? It's like, okay, well, now we got subscribers, like we have a community, like both me and my wife are hired. We're like amazing companies. But a lot of the time, like you said, has been, man, I'm studying videos, I'm reading this, I'm reading that, bro. But that opens up the doors, man, to learn and understand and comprehend things that you don't already know. So nah, man, that's good. And and then in terms of getting into some type of tech course, for sure. I mean, I like to tell people, look, do your homework, like do your research. I did mine. you go back, you look at the early videos, like my wife and I, like we would like tell you, like we did our homework. And really, and for us, we originally decided Course Careers, obviously because of reputation, but then because of the price point. Like it was like $500 even before a discount, right? But then like how you did SV Academy, one of our good friends, she did SV Academy and she killing the game. Like she crushed like her first year. You obviously killing it. You crushing it, right? So some things, you just got to do your own homework. And but yeah, man, I appreciate you, Prince. Tech Journey appreciate you, man. Atia appreciate you, man. And thank you for even, how you said people can reach out to you. I mean, I don't even mind, bro. I drop your LinkedIn in the description too, man. So like that's all good, man. And yeah, so we hope y'all enjoyed this episode, Tech Journey family. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. Best luck to you. No, I'm sorry, I'm gonna back that up. Not luck. Best wishes to you. And we know that you have the ability to go from where you're at to where you're going. And if it's something that you don't know, learn it, figure it out, connect with us, reach out, hit the subscribe button, all of that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next video.
Yeah, appreciate it, Justin.
Thank you, my man.
All right.